Good evening. Thank you so much for coming to watch another video here at Naomi Can't Hide. First of all, I'd just really like to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch the channel. If you can please like and subscribe and click on the little notification bell so that you can come and you'll always be the first to get my videos when they're coming up next time. I noticed that I do have a lot more subscribers, 100% definitely, than I had the last time, and I really do appreciate those that have subscribed and liked. Second of all, I just really want to take just a moment just to really thank everybody who sent me, first of all, people who watched the video, and those of you who took time to send me thanks and words of encouragement, and even some of those that shared their personal stories with me in regards to my last video, overcoming sexual abuse. I really do appreciate all of it. It was a massive step to do that. In fact, I've shared with a couple of people that because it was a bit of a longer video, it did take a little bit of time to upload. It took about 45 minutes to upload, and that 45 minutes to upload that video, I was genuinely pacing back and forth with tears streaming down my face and a knot in my stomach about posting the video. So it was it really felt like the last release. And so I'm really grateful that I was able to do that and share that video with you guys. But I'm really touched the move by all of the support that I've had on the back of that video. So now that that video has been done and I'm not hiding anymore, and I've let you know possibly the worst that I can do, I'm going to get back to the video that I intended to do, which is the second one, which is how to set your goals for the year. So a lot of people might think, oh, it's like almost the middle of February, so why are you now like deciding to set your goals for the year? The reason for that is for myself, I tend to use the month of January to prayerfully prepare. I usually do a Daniel fast. And I just really spend the month of January just really meditating and praying and just spending a bit of time with God to really think about, you know, the previous year and just try and, you know, work along with God to find out what it is that He really wants me to focus on. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the different steps that I tend to take each year. So the first thing I tend to do is I look at the previous year and give thanks. So you can see all these like boards up on the wall, which I'll get into in a minute. But what I did is I look at the goals from last year. So you can see on here I've got like a list of like different goals and things that I set last year. They're all under different categories, which I'll get into in a moment. And you can see that some are highlighted in orange. The ones that are highlighted in orange are the goals that I did actually accomplish last year. Now it's obvious that you can see that not every single one that's that's written on there has been accomplished. But I'm definitely grateful because I know that the ones that are highlighted in orange, if I hadn't written out my goals at the beginning of last year, I definitely know that I wouldn't have accomplished as much as I did. So as well as, so these are the goals that I set myself last year. I know that everyone will find that no matter what goals you set, life always comes in, and there's always like other challenges, life events, major changes in your life that take place sometimes that can come in the way of like the goals that you set at the beginning of the year. So that's why, as well as like highlighting the goals that I accomplished last year, I also wrote a list out of like major events or things or challenges, different things that happened last year. So for example, for me, I wrote that my oldest son Daniel moved out, I had a baby, I passed my driving test, which was one of the goals that I did set last year. 34 years old now, and I finally can drive, which has been a massive change in my life. I've written down like different family things. What's this? Oh, I weigh less now than I did in January last year. I don't know if I can really count that as an accomplishment, because this time last year in January I was 6 months pregnant, but we'll kid on that that I hit that goal. Another thing as well is that some goals that you set yourself in previous years, you may not have achieved them, but you definitely did better in previous years. So for example, I said that I wanted to read the whole Bible in a year, which has been a goal of mine for years and years and years. And last year I got to the end of Numbers. So for me, I wrote that down as a success, because in previous years I usually get to like the end of Genesis and I end up like giving up. So for me, that was like a major goal. I didn't reach my goal, but I definitely made bigger steps last year than I have in previous years. So you have to count all of the successes. And then another thing was the healing emotionally, and that was from the testimony which I shared from you guys last year. So goal, if you didn't write out any goals last year, if you did write goals last year, go through, highlight the ones that you accomplished. If you've never written out goals before, just write down everything that happened last year that was a major event. The reason for that is the biggest thing that you can do before you start writing any goals for the year ahead is to give God thanks for everything that happened and occurred last year. Now, whether it's a success or whether it was, in quotes, a failure or something that you didn't accomplish, all those things you've overcome and their challenges that you've moved through. And even if those things don't seem like they've had a positive impact on your life now, God, the Bible says that all things work together for good. So all of those things, God are going to take those things and he's going to use them for good. So for all of those things, just give thanks. The second thing that I like to do, and like I said, it's what I've been doing in January, is to pray about the year. So if you haven't done that in January because this is the first time that you're kind of like going to set goals in this way, it's fine, you can do that now. So just like really pray about the year ahead and really ask God and meditate. And you know, the Bible talks about the acceptable, the good, and the perfect will of God. And we want to, as Christians, you know, try and make sure that we are always functioning in the perfect will of God. And the way to do that is just really sit down and ask him what is his will and what is it that he wants us to do. So, and then the second thing that you do, and what I like to do if you don't already, is if you guys could just like maybe get a bit of paper and a pen. And you can pause the video right here if you want to go and do that. But I'm just going to give you a list of the different categories of goals that I write down. And if you'd like to, like, you know, go along with this and do this with me, then I'll just go through the different categories. So the first category is spiritual goals. The second category is character goals. The third one is health goals. So that's your spirit, mind, and body. That's like the first three. The next one is financial goals and relationship goals. And then for me, because obviously I've launched my channel, I've got channel and social media goals. So you might not necessarily have that, although one of your goals for social media might be don't use social media as much. That's still a goal, so I guess you could write that down. New skills and training is a separate one. Professional goals, and then goals for at home, so home life goals. So what I do then is, once I've written down all of those goals, or all of those different categories, like on a separate piece of paper, I literally go through each category and I write down every single thing that you've ever wanted to do in each category. Write all of them down. So like, as you can see, like these are obviously like the finalized lists or whatever, but obviously I did it on like scraps of paper or whatever, so you can see like I went through each one and I just wrote down every possible goal that I could think of inside that category. I think it's really important as well that you do, even if you if it's something that you like, sometimes people will have goals that they'll set, and like for me, one of the things is I want to learn French, or I want to brush up on the French that I did in school, or I want to play the piano. Like, whatever it is, especially if it's a goal that you've carried over year after year and you set New Year's resolutions and they never seem to come around, like, write those things down as well. Literally every single thing that you can possibly think of under those different categories, write them down. The second thing is that once you've written every single thing down in all of these categories, I want you to look at them. Like, I want you to like set out all the bits of paper, like on your desk or on the floor or across your bed or wherever it is that you're like writing it down. I want you to look at them, and I want you to see that it's a lot of goals. And I want you to recognize that there is absolutely no way that you can accomplish all those goals on your own. And like, I just really want you to like look at all those goals, because I know that everybody has in their mind, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And literally people become so overwhelmed by all the things that they feel like they should be accomplishing in their life. But I want you to, it's important that you write out every single goal that you have ever wanted, or every single thing that you, all those pressures and all those things that you put on yourself. I want you to write every single one of them down. And once you've written them all down, I want you to recognize how much it actually is in all those things. And I want you to accept, I'm just reading my notes down here, accept that you're never going to accomplish all those things. And once you've truly seen all of those things and you've accepted that I can't actually accomplish all those things, I want you to look at all those things, and I want you to give all those things to God in prayer. There is absolutely no way that whatever, I've got literally 10 pages. I don't know if you can see them all. I've got 10 pages on my wall of goals, of things that I want to do in my life this year. There's absolutely no way that I can do it on my own. And even although I wrote down all of those goals last year, I still didn't accomplish all of them. And writing goals down is not so that at the end of the year you can feel like a failure because, I didn't accomplish all of them. I write those things down because there's a scripture in Habakkuk 2 and 2 and 3 where it says, write the vision, make it plain. And so writing everything down and putting it down is actually an instruction from God. So like, write it down, make it plain, but put all of those things down, but recognize that you're not going to accomplish them on your own, that you're going to need God to do them. And when you like have all of those things, because I don't know if it's like this with you, but with me, whenever I think about what I should be accomplishing in my life or where I should be in my life, sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. But for me, it helps if I take all of those things and I put them on a bit of paper and I put them up somewhere, like in somewhere prominent. Like, so for me, I actually have these in my living room. I don't know if that's where I'm going to keep them. Like last year I had them in my bedroom. I've just put them up here for now. For the purpose of this video, I might move them back. But find somewhere prominent and put them up. And then so the next thing I would say is that once you've written out each list, not up like this, like on your like little scraps of paper, I want you to look at each list individually. Are there any goals that like overlap with other categories? So like, for example, in like my spiritual goals, one of the things I've got in there so I've split it into like personal and ministry, but one of the things was like I want to be able to like play worship songs on my own. So that's like, I want to learn how to like play the keyboard. And so that's also inside like my training and skills goals. So have a look through. Okay, another one is in my health goals, like I talk about like healthy eating and stuff like that. And then inside my financial goals, I talk about budgeting and like meal prep. So those two like are goals that are overlap. So once you've written all of your goals out, if you just like maybe take a highlighter and just highlight the ones that like they overlap with other goals, and those ones are going to be what's called your priority goals. The first thing that I'll say to you is that all of these goals, whatever goals you set yourself, the biggest priority goals is always your spiritual goals. Because if you do like all of the other ones, but you don't do the first one, then you've failed, even if you accomplish every single other goal. So no matter what goals or targets or whatever that you set yourself, if at any time you feel like, these I'm being overwhelmed, or I'm not able to accomplish these, just always go back to like your first one, your spiritual goals. Because if you can like really focus on those ones more than any of the other ones, then your year is a success. Okay? So I'm just reading through my notes again. Yeah. So once you've like written, once you've got all your goals or whatever like that, you can like find a way to display them. So like last year, like obviously, like I said, I didn't put them up like this. I just like literally wrote them on a plain piece of paper and like put them and just pinned them up on my wall with a tack. So right. I'm just gonna recap everything. So once you've displayed them, I want you to like pray over them. So have them like almost like the 10 Commandments, like the tablets were like out. So once you've displayed them, pray over them, and then daily pray about them. Okay. And one of the other things that I did is my last one here. I don't know if you can see it. Is this one here? At the end, it says Q1. So although I do have like literally every single possible goal that you could possibly think of, I wrote another one, which is Q1, so the first quarter, and I just chose one goal from each of the categories, and I put that down as like my goals for this quarter. So although I have like probably maybe like 50 goals or something like that, I'm actually only working on like a small amount of it like during this quarter, and all the rest of them are like absolutely backbenched, and I won't even think about any of the other goals that are on there until I've really like started to embed those ones. And they don't, when you're like choosing your goals for the quarter, the things that you work on, think about the things that are going to have the biggest impact on your life. So for me, I'll just go through the ones that I've written down so you can kind of get an example. So for me, like in my spiritual goals, I have something called the Perfect 5, which I'm gonna do another video on that later on, but it's just about the way that you pray and have your morning devotional. And then and I've written book. So God's really spoken to me and said that he wants me to write a book. And he's been saying that to me for like the last 3 years. So like this year it was like, Naomi, like this is the year. So when I've written that in there, even if it's just writing a first chapter, like that's more than what I've done in the last 3 years. And then so character goals, like my biggest one is gonna have a biggest impact on me is like being patient. And I've written specifically how that would look. That would be like try not to shout at the kids. So I think like there's different character goals, but I think like if I'm not shouting at the kids, that's going to have the biggest impact on my day-to-day life. And then for like the health goals, so there are things like exercise, lose weight and all that kind of stuff, but the biggest one I think is going to have the most impact on me is making sure that I get a good sleep pattern. So a lot of times I'll like go to my bed at like 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, and so I've just written down sleep. So sleep is going to have a bigger impact on me than like losing weight and like exercise and diet. And I know if I can get to my bed early and I can get up early, then I'll be in a much better routine. And then that will just like, so the whole point of what I'm saying about is when you're choosing your goals for the quarter, go through each one and think about which one is going to have the biggest impact on your life and only focus on those ones. And then obviously write those ones down. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh yeah. Like reducing screen time and try and be more minimalist. If you've got less stuff in your house, then your house is you're gonna have less stress and you're gonna have less to worry about. So have your goals for the quarter. So I hope all of that stuff has like made sense, and I hope that like you'll like take it and it will start to have a positive impact on you. I will like have another video like later on about how to like break down each of the goals and like how to start to focus on them, like I did mention, like the perfect 5 and different things like that. So this is just really like a kind of high level stuff, but I'll just recap like exactly what I've said. So number 1, look at the previous year, look at your previous goals. If you've not had any goals, just write down all of the successes and challenges that you had last year and the things that God brought you through, and give thanks. Number 2, pray about this year. Really seek God and ask Him what it is that He wants you to accomplish. Number 3, write down absolutely every single goal that you've had in previous years, especially goals that you've carried over and resolutions that you keep setting. And just to recap the different categories, I'll just go through them for you again. So spiritual goals, character goals, health goals, relationship goals, financial goals. So I've written channel and social media, but that one might not apply to you. New skills and training, home goals, relationship goals. I said that one, sorry. And professional goals. I'll just recap. So spiritual goals, character goals, health goals. So that's your mind, your body, and your spirit. Financial goals, relationship goals, channel and social media, new skills and training, professional goals, and home goals. I should have really read those in the order of priority, actually. Let me just... So the most important one is spiritual goals. The second one is character goals. So those are things that you want to work on, like maybe you want to be more kind, or maybe you want to be more generous, or maybe you want to show like different fruits of the spirit, like meekness, gentleness, peacefulness, patience, whatever. Health goals, like that's like within your body. The next important one, number 4, is relationships. So this would be like your spouse, your children, your family, your friends. Financial goals, maybe you want to be debt free, paying your tithes, whatever they are. Your home goals, so this is your home life. Do you want to be minimalist? Do you want to have a different routine with your kids? Do you want to create a different environment at home? Do you want to, like, whatever it is to do with your home life? Professional and new skills and training, they can go like whichever order you like. And then channel and social media goals, if you have that as one. So like I was saying, write out every single thing in each category. Number 4, look at it. It is a lot. Recognize that it is a lot. Accept that you'll never do it on your own. Feel that feeling and then give it over to God and pray. Number 5, prioritize your list. So the first one, most important one, is spiritual goals. If you only accomplish your spiritual goals this year, that is a success. 2, look at this is like B inside number 5. Prioritize any of the ones on the list that cross over on other lists. So if you've got something that's a spiritual goal, but it also ties into a professional goal, if you've got a health goal that also ties into a financial goal, highlight the ones that cross over into different categories. And then number the rest of them, display them in a prominent place, pray over them, daily pray about them, and then most importantly, choose the most important ones, the ones that are going to have the biggest impact from each of the categories, and put them down as your one for the first quarter, and then only focus on those ones. So that's the end of the video now. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Thank you so much for the support that you guys have given me so far up to this point. I've been really overwhelmed. And again, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, click on the little notification bell so that you can get more videos coming up. And if you have any ideas for a video, or if you have any questions, or if you like to have any follow-up on any of the things that I've mentioned today or on any of the other previous ones, send me a private message or put it inside the comments of this video. I would love to hear any suggestions. But I will have another video coming up soon talking about the perfect 5, and also how to concentrate on how to break down individual goals and things like that. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening. Take care and have a lovely evening. Goodbye.